The United States is experiencing a seismic political transformation. The leadership changes are brewing, a perfect storm for the establishment and the deep state, with Donald Trump's impending return on 20th of January 2025 sending tremors through the liberal corridors across the West. And right now, no one appears to be more rattled than Canada's liberal icon, Justin Trudeau. Having personal reservations against the Trump's first tenure, Trudeau is now desperate than ever before, attempting to appease the incoming administration preemptively. His desperate diplomatic gymnastics have destabilized the Canadian economic landscape already. The tariff man is poised for a thunderous comeback, and Trudeau knows he's in the crosshairs. Donald Trump has unleashed a dramatic and a massive economic threat via Truth Social, declaring a 25% tariff on the Canadian and Mexican goods tied directly to the border control. His proposed economic sledgehammer hinges on these countries preventing migrant crossing into the US. Additionally, he has decided to slap a 10% duty on Chinese imports over unfulfilled pledges to combat the drug trafficking. The tariffs, set to activate immediately upon his administration's arrival, will remain in place until what he terms the invasion of illegal migrant stops. Trump has explicitly challenged Mexico and Canada, demanding they take aggressive measures to seal border vulnerabilities and face severe economic consequences. Now, Donald Trump's war is something usually is aware of. His fight against illegal immigration is targeting every possible avenue of unauthorized entry into the United States. His strategy goes beyond physical barriers, encompassing economic warfare, legislative restriction, and the rhetorical vilification of the migrants. Even during his first term, this was the main agenda of his presidency. The cornerstone of his approach was the border wall, a symbolic and physical manifestation of the hardline stance. However, his anti-migration arsenal extends far beyond the concrete and steel. As of now, Trump is preparing and proposing economic sanctions against the countries that don't stem the migrant flows, using tariffs as a punitive measure to compel the compliance from nations like Canada. His rhetoric frames the migration as an invasion. And so, as expected, Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister of the liberal Wonderland, Canada, is already in panic mode. Trudeau's diplomatic panic unfolded swiftly after Trump's economic ultimatum. With 2 hours of Trump's Truth Social tariff announcement, he frantically reached out to Mar-a-Lago, desperately seeking dialogue. The Canadian Prime Minister's approach was pure damage control, a frenzied attempt to prevent economic catastrophe. His quote-unquote constructive conversation with Trump centered on border security and trade, revealing Canada's vulnerability to the incoming administration's aggressive stance. However, behind the diplomatic veneer, Canadian regional leaders and industry experts were also in full-blown panic mode. The potential economic fallout from Trump's 25% tariff threat represents an existential threat to Canadian trade infrastructure. His flurry of phone calls to the provincial leaders and Trudeau signaled just one thing: pure, unadulterated fear of the impending economic war Trump is preparing to drop on Canadian trade. And why not? Trudeau should be concerned about this illegal black hole, which has left America in ruins. In September this year, the Department of Justice charged Mohammad Shahzeb Khan, a 20-year-old Pakistani citizen living in Canada, of planning an ISIS-inspired attack on New York Jewish Center with assault rifles. Khan was arrested in Ormstown, Quebec, Canada, with just 12 miles away from the United States border. The illegal crossings continue to rise from Canada to US, with an estimated 19,000 people arrested in fiscal year 2024. That is approximately the same amount as the previous 17 years combined. The Trudeau's catastrophic immigration policy and Kamala Harris's ineffective border management has created a security and migration nightmare for the America. The unchecked influx of illegal crossings, 19,000 in a fiscal year 2024 alone, is representing a critical national security threat. The situation on the Mexican border is far more worse. Americans, witnessing this dramatic and systematic breakdown of the border control, have so decided to vote for a radical change. Trump's potential return is signaling a zero tolerance approach to migration using economic warfare through tariffs as his primary weapon. The message is clear: the era of open borders is over. Trump is set to implement an aggressive, uncompromising strategy to seal the US's vulnerabilities with Canada and its Liberal Prime Minister Trudeau in his crosshairs.